I think it's the answer for the time being, and he did rather more than was expected, because if you recall all the leaks and, you know, they all leak these things on purpose.
Well, even Labour politicians are sort of standing back
Absolutely.
and going, wow, that's more than we expected.
Yeah.
They were going for about sort of 10, 12 billion, and this is much more than that. So it is a large amount of money, and I think that there was a real popular desire, though, for him to do something substantial, and he's done something substantial. But it is a for the time being step that he's taken. And I think on the back of that, they've really got to consider what is both the medium and long-term situation. And I use the word energy, but I will now separate it out for gas and for electricity. Now, let me tell you what I mean, because there's a bit of a Delphic phrase inside the statement. And what that Delphic phrase is it's about looking at how electricity is charged in the wholesale part of the market. It's a bit early in the morning for this, so bear with me. I hope you've had your coffee.
Yeah.
We have something called an electricity pool. So all the electricity generators, whether it's gas or whether it's wind or nuclear, whatever, they supply their electricity into a pool. It's a virtual pool, but into one place from the supervision perspective. And the pricing of that pool is set about every half hour by the last, and so the most expensive generator that's called by the in to supply power for the country. Because our power varies. You know, we all use more in the morning and less at night. So you've got this electricity pool. The last generator coming in, the most expensive, is at the moment gas. So what that means is the price of all electricity in that pool is pulled up by the price of gas. So the wind is still costing the same amount to generate, and actually most wind have got a floor anyway, so they're guaranteed a minimum. Price of nuclear power is pulled up. And so for some of those electricity generators, they too are benefiting from the pricing that they get for this extraordinary situation. Now, who cares about this? Who cares that the electricity price is high? Well, of course, we do as people, and that's why Rishi Sunak has put out the package he has. But think about industry. And industry are the biggest electricity users in the country. And so for them, all these price increases have gone up. They're huge employers.
And there's no price cap for them?
So getting to how we price this pool of electricity is very important.
He's hinted at that, though, hasn't he?
He has.
He's
got
said
a
that he
Delphic
may well
phrase.
be looking at them.
Yes, and he's got to do it quickly, in my view. I mean, I've been saying, look at the algorithm for some time, but, you know, and correctly, the attention's all been, what is it that people have got to pay? And because we bundle gas and electricity together and call it energy, sometimes you do have to delve down and say, is there something we specifically should do for gas? And is there something we should specifically do for electricity? And for gas, well, quite clearly, we need to drill some more and get some more out of the North Sea for the time being. And for electricity, we've got to sort out that pricing, which was set some time ago, that pricing mechanism, for the purposes of attracting more and more green energy into the system.
And who decides on the pricing mechanism? Is it legislation, or is there a quango? Or who decides that?
It used to be National Grid who operated, and now I think they call it the systems operator. So a piece of National Grid has been hived out separately, and that's the organisation that says we need that generator to start, we need electricity from over there. The actual pricing mechanism is some form of an algorithm, and no, I don't think it's in primary legislation.
Right.
So the department...
They can change it.
They need to get to it. It's like everything... complicated, and there will be some winners and losers. But self-evidently, we can no longer run a system where the way it was set up, which was for the purposes of attracting more and more investment in wind, is now distorting the price upwards, and thereby a far higher price than necessary is being charged.
That's really interesting.
Do you have confidence that they are looking at that?
Yes, it's in there.
Yes, it is. I was going to say, the fact that he has hinted at looking at it suggests, hopefully, that they are taking a long-term strategy too.
Well, they did put an energy strategy out, which was fairly high level, and that was several months ago. And, you know, there's some things that are very easy to pick on, saying, shall we do this, shall we do that? There's some things that are pretty complicated. This is pretty complicated, but it has to be done. And they've got a lot of good brains in there. There's a lot of experts now in the academic world.
Yeah.
And to my mind, always the case with energy is park the emotion, chaps, boys and girls, who are in there making the decision. Park the emotion. Don't be swayed by pressure groups, however much you might want to.
Or by politicians who want to be popular.
Well, this is the short and long-term provision of electricity supply in this country is an engineering problem. So it needs to be for the engineers and the scientists. And that means some decisions are going to be difficult. But if you're not driven by the engineers and the scientists and sort of practical logic, we'll end up, sort of tripping to the next crisis and the next crisis and the next crisis. And it's not one political party. Every political party has not got this right.
Yeah.